I happened upon a fortune cookie through unexpected circumstances. It has a fortune on it. A fulfilling relationship is coming your way. The other side says, don't miss out on your chance to win big. Lucky numbers 38, 30, 26, 55, 20, and 42. But yeah, the fortune cookie. The fortune. I wonder what Rick from Rick and Morty would feel about this. A fulfilling relationship is coming your way. It's the sound of the paper of the fortune being fluttered around. So, I suppose I should still do my introduction. But, heck, miracles are only miracles if people believe, right? So I'll say this. I'll believe in this fortune cookie, but in order for it to happen, everyone out there also has to believe as well. So you have to believe in it for me and for all of you individually also watching this. This fortune only applies to me. It applies to all of you too. But all of you have to also believe. So let me know in the comments below that you believe. And also let me know a video game you like from your past and a video game you're looking forward to. Well, let's hop into my intro. Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. I am your tsundere streamer who doesn't stream. I promise nothing, I guarantee even less. And the only thing consistent about my channel is a complete and total lack of any professionalism. This place is just a place for me to be myself and to talk without any filters. And just want to say thank you to anybody that stopped by. Well, let's hop into the video. As I double check OBS chat. Bah! Yeah, it's a recording. Battler Sand, hang in there, hang in there. Can't get out. Beato called out to Battler repeatedly, shaking his shoulders hard, but by now Battler's eyes were blank. The words didn't reach him. Bern Castell and Erica had already left. The game was officially suspended until Battler could think of a new trick, but it was doubtful that it would be resumed even after 1,000 years or more. Okay, I'm heading off too. So long, you two. There's no need to say so long. Well, we'll think of a trick right away and the game will resume. We won't take up your time. So stay here a little longer, please. We've heard those same words from many witches in the past, and I've heard of hardly any who've actually managed to resume their games. As far as I know, the only two are me and Bern. Why? Why would a person who knows about that hell throw another person into it? Just because you're bored? Is that all? Yeah, that's all. It's to escape from boredom. Because when we get bored, we remember. We remember that hell. And you know. So you're literally just doing this to escape your own traumas. By throwing someone else down into that hell, we realize that, oh, we're the ones on the throwing side. And that means we aren't in that hell ourselves. If we don't keep doing that, then the fear of that hell will overwhelm us. If you two manage to get out of it, then he certainly will. I will save him. I can say it with certainty. With certainty? You swear with certainty before me, Lambda Delta, the Witch of Certainty? Yes, with certainty. Very well. I was the guardian for the former you anyway. Though the current you is different, I'll take care of you one last time. I'll give you a parting gift. And what is that? Hope. As long as you hold on to your certainty, your wishes will definitely come true. Are you listening? The old you was the endless witch Beatrice. You used to love detective novels that depicted impossible crimes. What are you, Kiichi's mother? I mean, I enjoy these nods to Higurashi, and I still want more of them. But I'm going to call them out when I notice them, but again, don't take me calling it out for a second, meaning that I'm not enjoying the nods to Higurashi. I love them, in fact. Keep them coming. Okay, your minds are in the gutter, so is mine, and honestly, I'm okay with that. And now I'm imagining Sylvia from Konosuba. I mean, she is really cute. And she does have nice tits. And nice. Everyone's like, Lunar managed not to say it. Like hell, I'd let you guys get out of that. She has a nice dick. And her balls are awesome too. Ha. You guys thought you wouldn't have to cringe. No, not on my watch. You guys, again, places for me to talk about a filter. I like boobs. I also like cock. Bisexual. Detective novels? That's right. The old you was an avid reader. You loved detective novels, loved closed-room murders, and were a super expert on impossible crimes. You searched for and found several closed-room tricks, found the single most basic element to all of them, and used that to form the core of your magical compendium. Didn't Battler tell you? He said that the old you would definitely have thought of a way out of this predicament. I agree with that. I guarantee it by the name of the Witch of Certainty, Lambda Delta. The old you would definitely have resolved this closed room trick. Just so we're clear, I'm imagining her tits bigger and her having a dick or a strap on or something. I'm also imagining Crash Bandicoot in the distance, jumping over her head repeatedly. You guys remember Crash Bandicoot? That's a good game. That's my parting gift to you. Goodbye. You've sworn to the Witch of Certainty that you'll act with certainty, so I won't say farewell. I'll see you again soon. Yes, we'll see you again soon. Lambda Delta vanished into thin air. Then, in the smoking room of the witch, the two who held the title of Endless Witch were left behind. One had empty eyes. It's kind of an inversion of what happened at the end of episode 4 to beginning of 5. Where Beato was kind of gray-eyed. The other supported the first by his side. Ironically, it was the exact opposite of how their relationship had been in the previous game. Ah, Zepa. What's this important announcement? Again, I don't know what accent I'm trying to... I'm trying to give Zepar for the accent, I think, and it's my idea of whatever a mix between a German and an Irish accent is. And everyone's like, you're not doing either of those accents, let alone a combination of them. Listen, Furfur, our Image song is getting released on CD? Liar! Yeah, it's a lie. Ha ha ha. We were just so bored of showing up the same way every time. We thought we'd change our style a bit. We're entertainers, and the stage is alive. You've got to ad-lib every now and then. Yeah, we could have done without that improvisation, damn it. Thanks for helping clear the tension, you two. Sorry, but we're still talking about what to do for the second trial. We'd like a little bit more time, and if possible, some quiet. Sorry, George-kun. Actually, we have a truly important announcement regarding the second trial. It's good news for some. It is bad news for others. Those for which it's bad news have probably already figured it out. If you don't know what we're talking about, then it's good news for you. Beatrice-sama? It's nothing. 5 people were there. Only Battler was missing. Beato's expression was dark, and she kept hanging her head. Everyone realized that something must have happened to Battler. We'd like to announce that Battler-kun has retired before the second trial. Everyone murmured. Just what had happened? The witch's game will wait forever for him, but a pair of lovers cannot wait forever. Love is like ice cream. It's sweet and creamy, but if you don't eat it quickly, you'll lose it. Our game isn't so gracious that it'll wait for him to return. So that's what you meant by good news. Huh? Well, I'm glad that we have fewer rivals now, but if you think I'll applaud someone else's misfortune, you don't know me at all. Battler-kun, the one we thought of as our greatest enemy. I won't ask why. If the demons in charge say so, then that's how it is. Then what will happen to Beatrice-sama? It seems I will no longer be qualified to participate in this trial. After all, this is a trial to test the bonds between lovers. Battler-kun isn't currently capable of doing that, so his pair is disqualified. How truly saddening. However, she is one of the participants in this 3-way trial of love, so I think we should let her watch the trial as an observer. A splendid idea. She does have the right to bless the pair that does overcome the trial. Are you okay with that? Yes. I want to watch until the end, and I still believe he will come back, quickly regain his qualifications to join in, and continue this trial with me once again. I think she has the right to be an observer. No objections here. There's no need for us to be cruel. But even so, we've lost a powerful rival. Sorry to you two, but I'd like to settle this trial right away. Ah, that's George-kun for you. I'm rooting for you the most on the inside. The coldness with which he furnishes his love makes its heat stand out all the more. At any rate, we've now gone from 3 down to 2, and the 3-way deadlock has been resolved. We weren't able to fight proactively because we were afraid of a 1 against 2 situation. Now that it's 1 against 1, it's just a good clean duel. So, in the end, we come to the simple conclusion that we should have just done this from the start. The 4 people stood up as though responding to some invisible summons and faced each other glaring. Only Beato was off to the side, watching the course of the young lovers fight in suspense. Each pair of lovers possessed an unbreakably strong bond. Then, isn't that enough? Their love is already real. There's no need to test it. So why must they fight? The winners will be bound together by a magical miracle, and the defeated will fall apart. Why have the demons promised us that will fall apart without a magical miracle? Why is a demon's game like this necessary? I don't understand. No, these people aren't important right now. I have to think of a trick for escaping as soon as possible so that I can save Battler-san from that closed room. I heard about Battler. It seems things have gotten quite troublesome. One-sama! I would like to save you both as my dear sister and as part of my full self. I will tackle the puzzle of Battler's closed room in my own way, but it is difficult. It feels almost as though an ordinary chain has been made to look like a wire puzzle. I heard from Lambda Delta San. She said that the old Beatrice would definitely be able to solve this with a trick. Don't you have any ideas? That old Beatrice is our completed form after we become one. Even if I am not but a part of her, I cannot solve it. In other words, no matter how much we think in our incomplete forms, we won't be able to understand. Both the older and the younger sister have no way of solving this riddle. Beato shook her head, chasing that thought from her mind. I won't give up. That closed room rapidly eats away at the heart. Unless I can save Battler-san as soon as possible, his heart will be crushed. Of course, I have no reservations towards lending my own wisdom. However, even I cannot make anything out of this closed room. If we put our heads together, I'm sure we'll find the same answer that we would if we were joined. Please don't give up and lend me your wisdom. I still cannot understand why you are willing to go so far for Battler, but I shall do as you ask. After all, it is a request made by myself. I will add my wisdom to yours. Look, Furfur, the two Beatos are thinking together. I wonder if those two can really save Battler. Oh, they can, if they have the miracle of love, that is. That's right, Sapar. They certainly can do it if they have the miracle of love on their side. Hey, Furfur, do you think they'll realize that we're giving them a hint for solving that closed room? The two Beatos huddled together, and straining their minds with all they had, they searched for a plan for saving Battler. It was as though they couldn't even see the four people glaring at each other and solemnly discussing the manner of the duel. They'll realize. If they have love, they certainly will. They were the demons of love. Love is the single element, the source of all miracles. Could a miracle of love provide an answer for a closed room trick? There it is again. Without love, it cannot be seen. I get how the catchphrase works as an abstract concept, but closed-room tricks are part of a genuine, ruthless mathematical puzzle without room for a fragment of affection within it. Just what kind of hint could these demons be talking about? I already have a certain answer. You wrote the fucking What these demons have said supports that even further. Yeah, okay, you're incredible. You always know the right answer, and you'll never tell me any of it, going by the rule of observers until you tell me about it. It's possible that you're just pretending that you know and lying. Piff, ha ha ha. Yes, I believe I do prefer a bad-mouthed Miko. Very well, child of man. To me, a Miko's sarcasm and abuse is like a ceremonial dance in my honor. You really are an irritating master. Stupid Oni-chan. Why'd you make a closed room like that yourself? Think, child of man. Thinking is not only a job for the characters within the tale. As a reader, you too have the right to enjoy thinking. And I enjoy watching you as you do. I'm willing to make a bet. Your last Miko ran out of patience and ran away from you, didn't she? You are free to enjoy yourself by scolding me. You are also free to worry over the problem along with the two Beatos, unless you think the tale will not continue. Why? I'm a reader, right? Can't I just stay quiet and read? No. I want you to think. I want you, the reader, to think too. I see. You're a pretty unpleasant author, aren't you? Of course, Angie hadn't reached the end of the manuscript she was reading. However, it would end with just a few pages more. What about the rest of the tale? It should continue much further than this. There should be many more pages remaining. What was the surprise face? Those were inside a different brown envelope, which was in Hachijo's hand. With a grin on her face, Hachijo waved the thick brown envelope about. If you want to read more, do what I tell you. Cool. Looks like she's got you, lady. Ha 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 ha. Letting you read only so far for free and then stopping when it finally gets to the good part, Amakusa couldn't stop laughing at this evil business practice. Your own views and reasoning. That's what I want. If you tell me those now, I'll hand over the rest of the manuscript. Quit mocking me. You think I'll just do whatever you say after something like this? Come on now, lady, calm down. I want to read on too, so please just chill a bit. About the rest of the manuscript, Madam Hachicho, you write about the answer to the closed room trick and the truth behind a bunch of riddles, right? Of course. However, I've written it so that those who fail to think or consider won't understand. Someday your passionate readers are going to say you've betrayed them. I understand that, which is why I don't go out in the open, child of man. Anyway, this is what Madam Hachijo is trying to say. First, tell me your answer. Afterwards, you can check to see if it's right. Correct, young man. It is not my intention to be mean. I ask this because I want you to truly understand the tale's conclusion. You're really enjoying this, aren't you, Amakusa? Yeah, come to think of it, you always take those TV quiz shows totally seriously, trying to win them from your couch. I guess life's many times more fun for you than it is for me. Come, please think. What miraculous trick could get Battler out of that closed room? I want to give the rest of the story, especially to those, no, only to those who have thought. In the Witch's Cathedral. No, considering everything that's gone on in here, maybe it should be called a demon's abode. Erica, who wanted to savor the memory of her perfect victory, stood with the whole vast cathedral to herself as the flush slowly left her cheeks. Then, though she thought herself alone on that balcony, she saw a shadow. It was Lambda Delta. Oh, it's you, Lady Lambda Delta. It's not often one finds you alone in a place like this. Oh, it's you. Congratulations on your big victory. Heh, that's strange. I think I remember saying the same thing to you right here at the end of the last game. That wasn't exactly a compliment. However, Erica was in such a good mood that even those words sounded like one. I happened to hear what you said a short while back. What? I heard that you have also had the experience of being toyed with as a piece on some great witch's game board, and then sealed away in some awful hell. Erica had a crude, triumphant look on her face, as though she had managed to pry into some embarrassing memory from the other's past. However, Lambda Delta didn't look in the least bit flustered, and instead gazed down from the balcony in silence. I have. I wonder how many years I was shut up in there. Maybe I should have counted them like Burn. No, it's probably best that I didn't. Counting the years is what made Burn break. Are you saying that my master also fell into the hell of a logic error at some point? She did, though she wasn't the one responsible for that logic error. Because she wasn't the game master? That's right. At that time, she was still a small piece that wasn't even self-aware yet. It was her master, the game master, who committed the logic error. My master was also a witch's piece. Yes, that kid's master is another bad one. Though she created the game herself, partway through she lost sight of what her goal was. She ended up creating something like a broken game of backgammon, where the start and goal were connected like a donut. What do you mean she lost sight of her goal? I'm talking about a logic error. In her backgammon game, she was unable to draw up a line of logic describing how to reach the goal she desired, so the game remained broken with no goal at all. In that case, she should have quieted down and thought of an answer herself. Instead, she despicably left even the thinking entirely to her piece, Burn. Have you heard of the infinite monkey theorem? It's a theory, no, an absurdity, arguing that if a monkey hits a random letter on a typewriter for an infinite amount of time, he'll probably end up with the same exact amount of letters as Hamlet by coincidence. Eventually monkeys would write Shakespeare. Wouldn't that be a horrible hell? Burn was forced to type randomly on a typewriter for an eternal period of time without even knowing the meaning of what she was doing. The Game Master was trying to get Burn to create a goal that this Game Master hadn't even thought of. Could Erica even imagine how horrible hell that would have been? A job you had to do 100 times and a job with a 1 in 100 chance of success that you have to keep doing repeatedly. Probabilistically, they may look very similar, but the difference in cruelty between them is great. When you have to do a job 100 times, you steadily approach the end, get more efficient as you become more used to it, and to eventually does end. However, a job that succeeds with a 1 in 100 probability doesn't reflect the hard work of the individual in the slightest. Everything is left to luck. In the worst case scenario, even the task of flipping a coin until you get heads can last more than 100 years. How many keys are there on a typewriter? About 100, maybe. What do you think the odds are of hitting those at a random and getting Hamlet? I can't even imagine. They must be unbelievably small. That's right. It's not really any different from an endless span of time. For that dizzying sort of time, that child is forced to keep pounding on that typewriter until she typed out a miracle. And that's why she's the witch of miracles. If she hadn't been a witch, no, she hadn't been capable of becoming a witch, she would probably still be a black cat strapped to that typewriter for eternity. That child was blessed by a miracle, succeeded in typing out a miracle, and became a witch in return from that hell alive. That hell was so long and harsh that her mind was completely broken. That's why she became such a mean and heartless witch. Even you would dislike your master if given the choice, right? That's not true. I am honored to be my master's piece. My master is a powerful persecutor. Trampling over the weak is her natural right. Because she's a human on the bully's side of life. Heh. Do you know how to create a great bully? No. It's easy. Bully them horribly, even if it's just for a short time. Then suddenly stop and give them power. If you do that, then no matter who it is, they'll be reborn as a mighty bully. Even if you only bully them for about 3 days, you'll get them to believe that they're still a bullied kid for 100 million times longer than that, and they'll reign as the mightiest of bullies. What does that have to do with my master? You don't understand anything about Byrne. No matter what kind of ruthless, cruel, horrible scum Byrne may be, I want to be the one person who knows what she's truly like. And the same goes for me. I think that kid, as a fellow survivor from hell, is the only one who can understand what I'm truly like. It sounds like you're jealous of the relationship we have. But give it up. The hell you think you've trudged through is nothing more than a blink compared to the one we crawled out of. This time Erica was probably the one being mocked. The discouraged expression on her face clearly showed that she couldn't accept Lambda Delta's words. If you'll pardon me for saying, I think it's the depth of the hell that's important, not the length of the time spent there. Oh ho? You think so, Witch of Truth Erica? I don't know what kind of hell you were in, Lady Lambda Delta, and I'm sure the time spent in hell was nothing more than a blink compared to yours. However, I don't think the depths of my hell were any shallower than yours. In part, to celebrate your victory, I'll listen to what you have to say without arguing back. From my point of view, both the hell my master fell into, which could only be escaped from with a miracle, and the hell you fell into, which I don't know about, but could be escaped from with certain willpower, were hells made to be escapable? Aha. That's pretty bold coming from you. I am the Witch of Truth. My hell was nothing more or less than the truth. When faced with the harsh reality of truth, no sort of willpower or miracle matters. I reached this place by overcoming that truth. I don't believe my power of withstanding the truth is in any way inferior to yours or my master's. So what is this power to withstand this truth? To withstand the truth. Those who don't know cannot understand. Perhaps you two couldn't become witches of truth because you couldn't bear to look at it directly. Hehehe. I'll forgive you for those impudent words. Letting them pass with a slight nod is my present for you, to you for your recent victory. Giggle. Thank you very much. Great Lady Lambda Delta. How do you pronounce a star? Oh, that's unusual. It's rare to spot you two getting along. At some point, Berncastel had appeared on the opposite balcony of the cathedral. Erica, noticing her, cried, "My master," happily, and dashed over. Lambda Delta was telling me old stories about you, a tale of miracles fitting for my master, the Witch of Miracles. I'll forgive you just this once. Huh? Never speak of my past again. A grimace rose to her face and blasted Erica's good mood away. Then she understood. Berncastel was also a witch, running from boredom. This is less running from boredom and running from trauma. If it caught up with her, she would remember those never-ending days of hell. This is proof that even my master still hasn't gotten over the pain and fear of hell. And again, I would like to reference one of my own videos, Gravity Part 69. It's a long video of like 5 hours of me going on a tangent. Gravity, Part 69. It means that she lacks the power to withstand the truth. For the first time, Erica felt just a little disdain for her master. My apologies. More importantly, why have you come to a place like this? I was looking for you. I wanted to give you a reward. A reward? Really? Thank you very much, my master. Oh? Wow, I'm jealous. What are you going to give her? First, I acknowledge your ascension as a true witch, not just a temporary one. I'll be your guardian, Witch of Truth, Ferudo Erica. Thank you very much. All you did was remove the temporary bit. How happy can she be with a reward like that? You've got to want something more spectacular than that, right? No, that's not true. I'm very happy already. Of course, on the inside, Erica did want another present. Mimicking Lambda Delta, she looked at her master to see if any further rewards would be coming. I do have one other. Berncastel snapped her fingers. As she did, a cloud of gold butterflies gathered and summoned Battler sitting in a throne at the center of the cathedral. Of course, his eyes were blank. He was still a shell of himself, his heart trapped in the closed room that he would never be able to escape from. That man is your reward. My reward is Battler? Oh, I see. You're saying that you'll make it so that Erica inherits all of this game board's territory. That's right. Look at Battler's finger. He's wearing the ring of the one-winged eagle, the symbol of the territory lord. If that becomes yours, you'll become the official lord of this territory. I don't mean you'll be under my charge. In the name and reality, this territory will be yours. So I need to take that ring off Battler's finger. Don't be stupid. There's only one way, one ceremony where a woman gets a ring from a man's finger, right? Erica, take Battler as your husband and become the wife of the territory lord. To take Battler as my... Yeah, that's right. If the territory lord is never to wake again, he'll need a partner to serve by his side and in his place. In other words, you will control this territory. If only Beato could be like... It's like... And does anyone have any objections? And Beato like storm in and like, I object. Otherwise hold your peace. In other words, you will control this territory. So, we'll hold a wedding and exchange rings. Battler's territory lord ring will become yours, and in exchange you will put a ring of subordination on Battler's finger. You will control and humiliate him forever. I mean, that's just standard marriage. At least in modern society. And create as many tales however you like, using this territory and game board. Territory Lord Ferudo Erica. Any tale you wish will come true. The Territory Lord is God. Congratulations, you're going to become the god of this small but wonderful world. Ha 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 ha. Is that true, my master? Will I become this world's god? Why am I imagining that in fucking Light Yagami's voice? Why is there a bag of potato chips? This is the final reward I will give to you. Take Battler's Ring and create your own world. When that happens, you won't be my piece anymore. You'll be your own witch, and a splendid one at that. Congratulations, Lady Erica. And one day you must welcome me when I come to visit, just like Beato once did. Yes, my master. There could be no greater honor, and I'm starting to like this marriage thing. Giggle, if you think about it, there could be no greater disgrace. After all, that Beatrice has apparently grown a desire to serve Battler and be liked by him in the world that the witch created. I'll marry, defile, and humiliate Battler. Giggle, cackle. Oh yes, I understand. I so understand how painful it feels to have the one you loved stolen away from you, and now I'm finally the one dealing out the pain. Truly, there could be no greater honor. I'm glad you like it. I knew it was the one present you'd like the most in the world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My master. Erica leapt down from the balcony and walked briskly towards Battler. Then she peered down at the reward she had been given. Now, isn't that a wonderful finale? You'll have a wedding, right? Of course, a magnificent one, the perfect way to end Beato's game. Of course, you'll send Beato an invitation too, right? Let's hope she actually comes. Giggle, laughter of bitch noises. Again, I like the modern style of art better. Okay, things are going to get busy. We have to prepare for the ceremony, make programs, send invitations. Don't forget the wedding dress and cake, and you need to get things ready for the reception. The two witches disappeared cackling. Only the two who were to be wed remained in the cathedral. Can you hear this? Battler-san, do you realize what's about to happen to you? Damn it. Battler's consciousness wasn't completely gone. It was very distant, but he was very faintly tethered to reality, and that was what made it cruel. It was as cruel as though the spider called Erica had wrapped Battler up and was eating him while he was still conscious. No, she might have been like that certain kinds of wasps. It was the cruelty of paralyzing her prey while it still lived, so that she could save him for later and eat him. In other words, her cruelty was that of a predator. You can't get out of that closed room. After all, you used all that red truth to show that it was closed. So don't worry, just let yourself be trapped in there forever, because while you do, I'll be giving your body some good long humiliation. Let's have a mirror in our bedroom. That way you can see just how you're being humiliated with your own eyes. Giggle. And let's have a bird cage hanging from the ceiling. We can stick your beloved witch Beatrice in there. What do you think? Wonderful, isn't it? Yeah, I understand. This is how sweet it is to be standing on the other side. Ha 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 ha. As he listened to this mad laugh, Battler couldn't even bring a distressed expression to his face. His heart was still trapped in the closed room he had created. His body and soul would soon be trapped within a new closed room of Erica's, a closed room called marriage. Why do I feel like there's all of a sudden a round table of undead chronic, replicant fish, Sandman, and raging golden eagle? I still say it'd be interesting to watch a collaborative video between Kirsha and Alex Jones. Then again, it'll be interesting to watch the video when Asmongold is reacting to Donald Trump greeting aliens. Like all of a sudden aliens are disclosed as real and also magic's real. And it's just like, okay, here we have Donald Trump on the White House lawn meeting not only with aliens, but also there's many busty big titty, beautiful aliens. Some of them are futa. Also, Astolfo's there for some reason. And heck, while we're at it, I lost my thought for a second. Hold on. There was something else. Struggling to remember. It was kind of the crux of this whole fucking joke. And then I got distracted by making jokes about Astolfo and big tits of various alien peoples. And then where was the other part of the joke? Like there was a punchline somewhere. And then I got distracted by jiggle physics. Fuck. Whole lead up to the joke falls apart without what the fuck was, like, I was on the, it was in my mind, I was thinking it, I could have said it at any time, and then I got distracted, then I instantly forgot. Fuck. I'm trying. I'm going to remember. Okay. Interstellar Wizard Alliance. And everyone's like, that's not the punchline you thought it was. I don't care. I'm just glad I remembered where I was going with the joke. Interstellar Wizard Alliance. Yes, it's a whitest kid you know joke. You know, Trevor Moore, Space Bears. But yeah. Like, I'm just imagining Battler in the sorcerer outfit being there. Interdimensional Wizard Alliance. Intergalactic Wizard Alliance. Hell, at this point, let's just imagine, like, Trump's got all the Citadel races for Mass Effect. Just to be clear, I spaced out imagining Sylvia from Konosuba naked. By the way, I still want to say something else. Aside from the fact. Nice. But yeah, Interstellar Wizard Alliance. That's what I was thinking of. Everyone's like, again, I know what you're guys saying. That wasn't the punchline I thought it was. Don't care. Now, granted, you can't see her very well, given the whole murder thing. But Kyrie looks like Ivy from Soul Calibur 2. She also looks like Kaoru from Evangelion. She also looks like Saray, the VTuber. But yeah, I'll make mention of that next time that she's not dead, I guess. So you can, like, see. But again, Ivy. That's a character from Soul Calibur 2, the fighting game. She has really big tits. Don't get me wrong. Tits aren't necessary, but they're awesome. I like boobs. I like fan service, especially in anime and video games. Hey, did you hear, Fufu? I sure did, Zappa. Lord Battler and Lady Erica are having a wedding. Their words were so similar to their usual shtick that Beato had to ask them to repeat it again. What do you mean? As you know, the territory lord of this place has had his heart sealed away and cannot speak. It seems that the beautiful Lady Erica is going to become his wife and support him in his work. The two demons explain the situation in a very simple yet dramatic way. I know what's going on. They are planning to take advantage of the fact that Battler's heart is sealed away and use marriage to lock up his body as well, so they can steal everything from him. At this rate, Battler's position as Game Master and his Territory Lord's ring will be stolen away. That little thief thinks she can do whatever she wants. Let's steal him back. This doesn't concern me, but if it affects you, then it's my business too. Just stealing his body back won't do you any good. After all, the great Lady Berncastel has already signed the marriage certificate as a witness. With the great witch of the Senate serving as a witness, no one can dispel that union unless one of the pair wills it. So, as I thought, unless I can rescue Battler Sand's heart from that closed room, there's no way we can save him. Interstellar Wizard Alliance. I'm the only one that finds that funny, I think. Again, all additional jokes aside, and granted, there could be more serious repercussions to, like, I don't know, alien life being real, other than me just wondering, are any of them really tall, beautiful women with big tits and a dick? You know, I'm just saying. Aside from that, and in general like this, I'm not opposed to aliens existing, provided that they don't plan to murder, enslave, or do bad things to humanity, or destroy America's sovereignty, or try to brainwash us all, or take away our free speech, or guns, or the voting process of America. Also, granted, they don't have to believe in Jesus themselves. It'd be nice if they did, but I'm just saying, as long as they don't try to tell people that they can't believe in Jesus or God. So basically, if they respect people's right to believe, to be Christian or Jewish or whatever. So, as long as they don't force people to deny Jesus, or to deny that, you know, Jesus was of God, or the Son of God, or the Word made flesh, or deny that Jesus died on the cross in the first place, let alone deny that Jesus rose from the dead and died for our sins and came back to life and resurrected, or God, or deny God. I mean, they don't have to believe the same thing. I'm just saying this, as long as they don't take away people's right to believe in God or try to, like, conquer people. But if it's like they try to just get along with everyone, then it's fine. I'm just imagining, like, Trump giving an update on, like, the Citadel from Mass Effect. But all things aside, the main crux of the joke was, I would enjoy watching Asmongold react to Trump having a, you know, public meeting of goodwill to basically, you know, imagine this. Trump is on the White House lawn having a meeting of goodwill with one or possibly multiple alien species. And everything ends well. There's no surprises. Nothing goes bad. They don't suddenly, like, start killing everyone to conquer the planet. Everything goes well. And everything has no negative connotations at all. And not only are they not going to kill everybody on the planet or anybody, but they're also friends with Donald Trump. Like, they're actually friends of America. That, you know, Trump is actually having a meeting with, you know, the leaders of alien worlds and civilizations on the White House lawn, and they're all getting along as friends. And they're all friends of Trump and friends of America and friends of humanity. Just to be clear, I keep getting distracted by the thought of motorboating Sylvia's giant tits from Konosuba. I didn't have to tell you guys that, but now I'm imagining bouncing on her dick. So, everyone, can we please resume the story? Main point is I'm just imagining, like, watching Asmongold react to Trump meeting with aliens. Though I just had a really dark thought. I now imagine watching a video of Asmongold reacting to New York City getting hit by a hydrogen bomb. That's pretty fucking dark. That's actually really fucking sad and depressing. A lot of people would die. Why is Winnie the Pooh flying a fighter jet? Okay. Well, you guys get... Again, heck, like I said, I still want to see a collaboration video with Kirsha and Alex Jones. You guys remember Ultra J-Man? Did Let's Plays of I Want to Be the Guy and Battle Kid and Bonesaw. Heck, he even did a collaborative thing with Rom Scout of How to Be a Complete Bastard. It's a hilarious game. Well, I mean, the game itself is stupid and not funny. But Ultra J-Man and Rom Scout's reactions to it are good. It's kind of like Slow Beef playing Dead to Rights with his friend. Heck, there's a person called Winslater who played Kid Chameleon 2 Heady Metal's Revenge and Kid Chameleon 3 Final Marathon, which are actually ROM hacks of the original Kid Chameleon game for the Sega Genesis. Then find a way to rescue him from there. You're going to steal away the bridegroom? Ah, how wonderful. If you can do that, it would make for a tale beautiful enough for the opera. However, this closed-room stealing battler is quite difficult. The only way out is the door, and if the chain is unset, his escape will not be accepted. And on top of that, the chain can't be set from the outside, and now there's no one left to switch places with him. No matter how you look at it, we're stuck. If we give up, we won't be able to save him. The only way we can save him now is to keep thinking. Though Beato looked as though she was about to burst into tears, she clenched her fists tightly. She was so frustrated with her inability to think of any brilliant plan that her heart felt as though it would burst. Zepar and Fafur, you two are known for being among the most powerful of demons. They say your magic can make the impossible possible. Couldn't you use your power and knowledge to work out a plan for crushing this impossible closed room? Yes, love can accomplish any impossible thing. If you can't accomplish something, it means you lack enough love. Hearing that hurts. But we're moved by the strength of the will that prevents you from giving up. Because you have that, we're sure you can bring about a miracle. Can't you at least give us some sort of hint about that miracle? We've known each other for quite some time. Can't you at least give my little sister a hint as a parting gift? We are always giving out hints. Without love, they cannot be seen. Yes, we can't see, which is why I'm telling you to show us. Those two are always like this. You'll never get bored, but they can be very irritating at times like these. Zepar and Fafur certainly were demons who possessed great power. The power of love that they bestowed had created several miracles in the past, miracles so great that they left marks on human history. However, those miracles were never given easily. They would give trials, tell riddles, and sometimes help the truth be realized, so that those who desired power could create the power themselves. No matter how pitiful the eyes that looked up at them, the two demons would never lend their power out of pity. As it was with the gods, so it is with the demons. They help those who help themselves. I understand. I'll think about it myself. I will certainly. See, demons, look at this modern, pure-hearted girl. As the demons of love, don't your hearts hurt even a little? Let's have a hint. Or could you at least give us a hint to a hint? Zapar and Fafur looked at each other. Of course, there was no pity on their faces. However, it could be seen that though they did find the problem amusing, they were considering what they should do next. What'll we do, Fafur? Can we just give them a hint to a hint? Yes, that will do nicely. Let's have it. So let's have it. Okay, here's a present from Zapar and Fafur. A hint to a hint of love. But please, you can't see the answer because you don't have enough love. I told you that's not a hint like that. And if you don't have enough love, why don't you watch some lovers who are overflowing with it? Yes, unfortunately, we have two groups of lovers right here with us. Why don't we take a peek at their fight for love? You should watch over and observe our trial. I told you, not a hint like that. Beato the Elder yelled at them, asking for a more tangible hint. However, Zapar and Fafur just giggled and ran about like rats. However, Beato took their hint to a hint seriously. Now that the Beatos were out of it, the second trial was between George and Shannon on one side, and Jessica and Cannon on the other. Tear apart the two who are close. In other words, defeat one of the members of the opposing team. They were allowed to use any method they wanted. It could be a duel, or it could be rock, paper, scissors. The four of them had alternated between speaking together, then splitting up and discussing things amongst their teams, and had apparently finally reached a decision. Zapar, Fafur, do you have a second? Oh, they finally called out to us. So, George, have you decided on a format for the duel? No matter how much the two demons cheered the four of them on in a joking manner, their serious expressions did not waver. Yes, we've decided to hold a duel. The duel will take place between Shannon and me. That's surprising. For a one-on-one duel, we would have thought that George and Jessica would have fought. These guys really wanted it to be them, and they wouldn't listen. As a man, I can't stand being unable to do anything but watch. However, Shannon's resolve will not waver, so we have no choice but to respect their decision and believe in them. Cannon-kun, thank you so much for believing in me. I've always thought that if we had to fight each other directly someday, it should be done like this. And we've realized that that day is today. Of course, we might have been able to avoid this today. However, now this day has come, so we won't run away. That's right, I'm not running away, so I'll be right here. Me too. I placed my faith in Shannon, so I have nothing more to say, and even if Shannon is the one fighting, our power is one, so we'll be fighting together. Yes, that's right, I'm just representing the pair of us. If the lovers have decided, even we demons will not butt in. So, how would you like to settle this duel? You don't mean that you want to have a literal duel, do you? At once, both Shannon and Cannon nodded. And the method? That doesn't matter as long as it's a fight to the death. If possible, we would like to be peaceful without suffering, and we would like to avoid wounding each other unnecessarily before one of us dies. Zapar? We should be the ones to oversee this noble duel. True. We understand, you two. We will propose a noble duel, one that will honor your noble spirits. When Zapar clapped loudly, a case with an old design appeared in the air and landed between Shannon and Cannon. Fafur nodded at them, urging them to open it. Cannon crouched down and opened the case. There were some antiques inside. They would have looked splendid hanging on a wall at some classy coffee shop. However, they were not mere decorations now. These are, I see, just perfect for a duel. Inside the case were two dueling pistols, ancient like the kind used in the Middle Ages. Yes, this was a dueling pistol case that only those who wished for a fight to the death were allowed to open. They have one bullet each. As you requested, we have imbued them with magic. They have magical bullets, which will bring certain and painless death no matter where on your body they hit. Thank you very much. You are most merciful. And what if we both miss? Normally that would be a draw. However, such a thing is not allowed in our trial. If you both miss, you will come back, and we will give you new bullets. This will repeat until one of you is dead. I have no objections. Me neither. You guys say neither or neither. I'm glad. This means we can finally settle this. Ushi Romeo George, I recognize you as Shannon's no Sayo's witness. Understood. Ushi Romeo Jessica, I recognize you as Kanon's no Yoshia's witness. Sure. We are responsible for this duel. It is our responsibility to see that this duel reaches a decision no matter what. When Zapar and Fafur cried these words out, the whole area was blanketed in a gold-colored light, and when it cleared, it had become the rose garden where the golden roses bloomed. A duel over love, is it? How old-fashioned they are. I have seen many duels with pistols during my 1,000 years, but I have never seen one like this. Because it's being overseen by demons? No. A duel over love is usually a fight between two people, both in love with the same single person. However, here we are, a pair of lovers. Here we have a pair of lovers fighting another pair of lovers. This is quite odd. I'm sure it's because they want a miracle of magic. It seems we cannot be successful in love without such a miracle. Do you know the minimum number of people needed to create a universe? Huh? No, I don't. Shannon and Kanon each took a pistol out of the case, returned their respective witnesses, and checked the weapons over. Then, when they both decided that there were no problems, they checked once more to make sure that their opponent was prepared, and nodded to each other. If there are no problems, let the duelists stand back to back, then walk the decided number of steps away from each other. Then the duel will begin on our signal. Zapar, how many steps should they walk? Good question. Well, maybe we should choose a number that's closely bound to this duel. A number closely bound? What number is that? It's a number we know of well. It's that number which has been repeated over and over again since the time this game began this tale. That number is 19. That's an interesting number. I like it. It's a good number to settle everything with. 19. Whenever the illusion of a 19th person was seen on this island, on which only 18 people were supposed to be, this number was used to refer to the witch. It was the number of years needed to create this tale. It was the number of years it took to reach this unavoidable day. And it was the age of the true territory lord of this world. And they'll stand across from each other, then walk 19 steps and shoot. That's pretty far. At that distance, the first one to shoot won't necessarily be the winner. If one of us shoots first and misses, that will probably be the end for them. And if it hits, this easy game can be won without even getting a scratch. Well then, duelers, get ready to duel. Digimon, digital monster. Stand with your backs together. Imagine Angel Woman from Digimon. Paizurimon. Again, boobs. Shannon and Kanon slowly walked towards each other, facing each other. Once they turned away, they wouldn't see the other's face again until they killed them. So this face-to-face meeting would never happen again. Unless they both need glasses or something. Thanks for everything. Getting to have a little brother like you was fun. Thank you for letting me be me. Thank you for showing me color in the world of gray. Why were we born, I wonder? It would have been better if we died right after being born. That's Father's sin, isn't it? Yeah. So he can just die. Let them all die. Yeah, everyone will die. It'll happen very soon, and right after everyone will revive, and we'll be able to see them again. We aren't birds in a cage anymore. We will finally leave our cage and fly off to our separate worlds. I should have had a duel like this with you long ago. Surely today is the day. Yeah. It's today, October 5th, 1986, the fated day. The day that one of us will die. Or maybe we'll both shoot at the same time and both die. That might not be so bad. Even that wouldn't be bad at all. Right. After all, even if that happens, our loves will surely be made complete. Did we really need to have this duel? We did. You said it yourself. We should have done this much sooner. Right. Because to me you are. Just in the way now. For the first time, the intent to kill flashed through the eyes of both. Why? For what reason? Why must such a day come for this pair that seems so much like siblings, connected by a bond different from love? It was a great mystery, as great a mystery as the question of how this could be the key towards unlocking Battler-san's closed room. If I watch over this duel instead of running away, will I find the key to solving that closed room? I will, right? Zapar-san, Furfur-san. The cathedral was beautifully decorated for the wedding between the Territory Lord, Lord Battler, and Lady Erica. A crowd of guests wearing goat masks filled the cathedral, waiting for the arrival of the bride and groom. As befitted of a demon's wedding, it was neither solemn nor quiet, but cheery and noisy, brimming with activity. I wonder what Beato is doing. I hear she has gone to see Zapar Fafur. Since that powerful pair controls love, they could force even a demon king to retreat. I do hope they prove to be helpful in some way. I know all about those two. I think you know as well as me that they won't hand over their power easily. True, however, that is precisely why they are capable of granting a power that can lead to miracles. At any rate, if we can just free Battler-kun's heart from that closed room, we should be able to manage something here. Closed rooms are your favorite, are they not, Gape? Can you think of any tricks? This is a nasty one. Battler and Erica have been dropping red truce all over the place. I can say for certain that it's impossible to escape from the inside on one's own. So, after all, the only way is to have someone else trade places with him and set the chain. If someone does appear like that, saving Battler should be easy. There's a full 11 people, right? Those 11 people are sealed on the second floor of the guest house. If we could somehow slip them out of there. I see. Solving the problem of Battler-sama's closed room is equivalent to solving the problem of either closed room on the guest house second floor. Exactly. Limiting your thoughts to just Battler's guest room will be like getting trapped in a mental closed room of your own. Simple answer is this. How long did it take Erica to get out of the room that she was in with Hideyoshi? Meaning, was it possible for anyone in the other room to have left? Because after all, she said she was just going next door to the other room. And it wouldn't take her that long. But here's the thing. She never did go there. She went back to check the seals that she placed. But she didn't place those seals until after she left the room, which means if anyone left from the other room before Erica left the one room herself, they would have already left and but the question is, would any of the people in that room been able to be allowed out? But I would say this. Erica sealed those rooms, yes. But she didn't seal, after all, she left Hideyoshi's room with the saying that she'd immediately just go into the next room, but she never did. She went to the mansion. And at most, she came back and checked the seals to those rooms afterward. She never actually went in the room with Kraus and all the others. Which means if anyone in the room with Kraus and all the others had left and gone anywhere else, well, she'd have no way to confirm that. Now, granted, if someone had left that room, whether it be one or all of them, well, the only way they would broke the seal is if they had returned, which means they just would not have come back. which means you could have had, like, say, Jessica sneak out. Not that Kraus would allow that. But any one of the people could have left. And Erica would have had no way to know. After all, she wouldn't have set the seal until after the person's already out of the room. Limiting your thoughts to just Battler's guest room would be like getting trapped in a mental closed room of your own. The closed room we need to break open to save Battler isn't the guest room, it's the closed rooms in the guest house. Why are you wearing glasses now, Lunar? Most unfortunately. We have been placed in charge of those 2 rooms in the guest house. Tish. And you guys specialize in seals and barriers. However, that was a quite impressive miscape. You realize that the closed room you should destroy to save Battler is in the guest house. The ceremony will begin soon, but why not reconstruct the scene as the way to kill time until then? Are you sure about this? Doesn't this violate the obligation of confidentiality you have as Lady Erica's pieces? That is no problem. Surely if you first have the seals around the scene confirmed and fall into despair, you will be able to celebrate the ceremony more sincerely. How confident. I'll take that challenge. Leah, let's have ourselves a little snack before the ceremony. With that, dear ladies of Izern, we humbly ask that you reconstruct the scene for us. We hear and obey. This is the cousin room. The next room over has the exact same layout. Carry out your inspection however you please. This room has Genji, Goda, Cannon, and then Kraus, Rudolph, and Jessica for a total of 6 people. The next room over has Hideyoshi, George, Shannon, Kumasawa, and Nanjo for a total of 5 people. Don't be stupid, everyone. Who's in this room doesn't matter anymore. We need to find out how to escape from it. You're right. The door and the windows are sealed, so we must somehow escape from some other place. You know what? I know all about how you heaven people like to use momentum to dodge issues. This is no closed room. Right? Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that the closed rooms in our charge are perfect. You were in charge of the window seals at Kinzo's room last night, right? Just how did Battler let Kinzo escape from that room? That was no fault of Cornelia's. The blame rests on her superior, me. This is exactly the same as Kinzo's study. It's the same, it's the windows. This closed room can be broken by the windows. This is a trick, is just plain obvious. How? Lady Erica sealed the entire room, right? That means the entire room is sealed, including the windows. I see. It would seem that we have been misinterpreting the definition of these seals. Closed room seals or packing tape are not impossible to break. They form no prison. That's it, exactly. Seals definitely prove that a room is a closed room. However, they don't prove that the room will remain as such. They only prove that the room is closed as long as the packing tape is not broken. We are not trying to deceive you in any way. As long as the packing tape is intact, they are guaranteed to be closed rooms. That is all. Then why the windows? Why is it that we can break the closed room with the windows? It's simple. We just tear the packing tape apart and jump out. I don't know what the outside of the wall of the guest house is like, but it must have enough of a foothold for a girl to crawl up and stick packing tape on the outside. For that girl to crawl up it and stick packing tape on the outside without anyone noticing. If you break the packing tape, we will immediately know the seal has been broken, and we have already proven that the seals were intact at the time of the Battler's logic error. True. It's true that at the time you proved the seals weren't broken. That's how you tricked us into thinking that these were closed rooms. The logic of seals equal closed room doesn't always apply. Gape's special was dealing with the finishing blow in closed room mysteries. She leaned back and looked down at the short Delaner as though a challenge such as this was like taking candy from a baby. Delaner looked up at her with a bold expression and sparks flew between them. What do you mean seals equals closed room equals wrong? That's insane. Remember, Leah, which seals did Erica and the others show us at the time? Which seals did they show us were still intact? Hoo-hoo, I see. This is a sort of falsification that the great court of heaven likes to practice. I cannot let that remark pass. What is your complaint? Come on, I've been saying it the whole time. It's the windows. It's true that you people use the seals to seal them in. That included the windows. And at the time you added those seals, that counted as proof. So far, so good. But you know what? After that, anyone in this room could have done it. Who was here again? Genji, Goda, Cannon, Kraus, Rudolph, and Jessica. It could have been any one of them. All they had to do was tear the packing tape on the window, slip out from there, and save Battler. But at the time of the logic error, it was proven that the seals were intact. Incorrect. At that time, Lady Erica only verified the status of the seals on the doors. Yes, come to think of it. At that time, Lady Erica just showed the doors of the 2 rooms and claimed the seals were intact for each. She never mentioned the seals in the windows. That's correct. It's probably true that the seals on the doors and the windows were perfectly secure when they were added. However, at the time of the logic error, you only confirmed the status of the seals on the doors. In other words, since the time Erica left the guest house, it was not forbidden for someone to break through the windows and leave whenever they wished. What do you say? I've got you now, haven't I? This is how you do things. Humph. Commander Delanar, it's nearly time. It seems the bride and groom have arrived. This ends our chat. We will meet again later. With a happy-looking grin on her face, Delanar turned around, but that must have hit her where it hurts. Gape wouldn't let her get away. She grabbed the other's shoulder. Wait there. Tell us whether or not the seals on the windows were still set at the time of the logic error. If you don't, anyone in that room could have saved Battler. And who do you think would have been capable of such a rescue? It doesn't matter who, then, just by personal preference, I'll name Cannon-kun. He seems agile and hiding his presence is his specialty. He's the perfect person to follow after Erica and quickly come to Battler-kun's rescue. Cannon? Impossible. Impossible? Come now, we can't trust what you say with normal words. Use the red truth. Swear upon the red longsword of yours. Miss Gape, a sacred wedding is about to begin here. You asked me to draw my sword in a sacred place such as this? How inelegant and rude. Let's do this some other time. Goodbye. It's possible for Cannon to save Battler. After Erica sealed the room, he left the window and switched places with Battler-kun in the guest room, set the chain lock, and hid in the closet. Impossible. The window seals were also intact. Of course, this is at the time of the logic error. Gape's rapid reverse roundhouse that followed her blue wedge crossed Delanar's longsword and both pointed at the other's throat. The once peaceful mood of the wedding broke apart. Several goat guests whispered to each other, wondering why those two seemed to be fighting. Okay, so you can counter that. Why didn't you just say so in the first place? We thought that Beatrice might eventually reach that thought, then barge in on the wedding with that as the key to Battlers to escape. I did not think that you would press us first and force us to show our hand. You do fight dirty, don't you? You were trying to trap Bea to making her suspect the windows, then turn the tables on her. What else should a human who guards the bride be expected to do? Are you satisfied now? A demon world-style wedding truly is vulgar and barbaric, if you would excuse us. Wait up, you haven't fooled me yet. When you mentioned window seals just now, you were talking about the ones in the rooms with Cannon, the cousin room, right? Then what about the windows on the next room over? All you've done is show us the rescue would have been possible for Cannon. There's still a chance for the humans in the next room over. How very persistent. We apologize for our rudeness. We are the Cheister Sisters, Imperial Guards in charge of security at the ceremony. I'm afraid I must ask both of you for your stamped invitations. Delanar Enox, I am with the bride's party. Here is my stamped invitation. Also, here are my credentials as bodyguard to the bride. Confirmed as Chief Knox. Welcome to Lord Battler's wedding. I'm Gape. I'm with the groom's party. Here's my invitation and, crap. You didn't get it stamped at the reception desk. Yeah, I came here directly, so I didn't go by the reception desk. It's still unstamped. Well, why do you always have to do that at times like this? Gape-sama, my apologies, but want to ask you to come with us to a different room. Delanar watched, shrugged, and turned away. Wait there, Delanar. Respond to my blue truth. If you want the opinion of the Great Court of Heaven, please fill out an application in accordance with the court procedures. Allow me to speak. Know that the ticket window is open from 10 a.m. to 5 on Weekdays. Lunch break runs from 12 to 1:15. Allow me to speak. Know that the use of the whiteout or strike-throughs is not permitted when filling out forms. There's a rumor that they refuse Comiket applications for the same thing, yeah? That's an urban legend. Probably. Let us provisionally accept the blue truth verbally. It will put on hold until proper forms are received and duplicate submissions are not allowed. I don't understand. Can you respond to my blue truth or can't you? If you fill out the application on Monday, we should be able to have an answer for you by the end of next month. Duplicate submissions are forbidden, so the blue truth you just spoke will be unusable during this wedding ceremony. This is in accordance with the laws of evidence from the official Great Court Regulations, Article 214, Section 15, regarding prevention of duplicate submissions. Please allow me to speak. Know that it is forbidden for blue truths to be used if based on the argument that the window seals the next room over were torn at the time of logic error. Please allow me to speak. Know that the opposing side is under no obligation to respond to the aforementioned blue truth. Cowards! Hey, let go of me, rabbit band! The Cheister sisters led Gape away. Just when she thought she'd reached the core, they had underhandedly refused to respond. However, this is a big clue. There's a chance the window seals in the next room over have been broken. In other words, it might be possible Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, or Nanjo to save Battler. And yet just now that move was sealed away. The use of any blue based on window seals in the next room over might have been broken. Has been prevented. It's now impossible to claim the 5 who could have saved Battler were the ones who did it. What the hell? That's low. That's the answer, isn't it? I also noticed that they hadn't proven that the window seals were intact. But if they can't use the blue truth, what are they supposed to do? Yeah, I know. I'm sure you're laughing at me again because you alone have discovered the answer. My apologies, child of man. I am having trouble just as you are. I can't believe I'm hearing you say that. I also realized that the windows of the next room over were left available. However, I hadn't imagined the use of the argument would be prevented. Doesn't this seriously violate the rules? I mean, how can a quiz be fair if you can't say the right answer? Isn't this a logic error from the other side? We can also view the fact that the tale is continuing as proof that it wasn't a logic error. In other words, there's some other answer completely unrelated to the windows of the next room over. Or it may be possible to explain without discussing the windows how one of those 5 came to Battler's rescue. If they can't talk about the windows, they'll have to find a different way to leave that room. That practically makes the next room over a closed room. Yes, that is why I am also stuck. Because of these strange seal proclamations, the 2 rooms that once again have become closed rooms. Most likely. Most likely what? If you're so vastly intelligent, what kind of answer have you found? There is no answer. No answer? What do you mean? There is no way out except for the windows of the next room over, and yet we are not allowed to include those windows in our reasoning. There probably is no answer for this closed room, and if so, what next? Since no answer exists, then defeat is absolutely certain for whichever player is burdened with the responsibility of explaining. So we have no moves left. In other words, that stalemate of Delanor's was the final blow. Doesn't this make it checkmate? No, one move does exist. However, that move is one that can never be used again. And it is also part of Beato's heart. You mean one of the greatest riddles of this tale? Precisely. By using that, or possibly, Featherine sighed deeply. It was something she hadn't done once before now. I see. So, as long as this tale has been, it is finally time for the curtain to close. Exposing the answer to this riddle means the same as finally killing Beato, but perhaps Battler is the only one qualified to make that decision. If he weaves such a tale as the Game Master, no one will be able to stop it now. The greatest riddle of this tale will probably be revealed very soon. A deep sound reverberated through the cathedral. It was the sound of the several dozen Cheister sisters, Imperial Guards, members of the Honor Guard, who stood in a line across the cathedral and stamped their heels in unison. It brought about total silence even before the demons running the ceremony spoke. "Let us have silence, ladies and gentlemen." Welcome to the wedding of Lord Battler, Territory Lord and Golden Sorcerer, and Lady Erica, Witch of Truth. Zapar and Fafur had appeared in the center of the cathedral. Having them invited to host a wedding was a great honor, though they had asked for silence. The attendants who packed the cathedral welcomed the two demons with an enormous applause. Oh, it's Zapar and Fafur. Then what about Beato? She may have already snuck onto the grounds. They searched for Beato in the crowds of several hundred people, but they couldn't find her anywhere. I wonder if Beato managed to find a way to save Battler-kun. If she managed to gain Zapar and Fafur's power, then I'm sure she has. There exists no miracle that cannot be gained after receiving their strength. And if she didn't, then that goat biting its handkerchief over there is probably her. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Then let us welcome the bride and groom. Please give them a grand welcome and celebrate them as they start on their new life. Come out, bride and groom. Walk the path of the shackles called marriage, which will bind you until the grave. The big doors in the back of the cathedral slowly opened. And then, the Territory Lord and his beautiful bride came into view. Arm in arm, the pair slowly began to walk down the path to the grave, lined with red carpet. The Chaister honor guards stood at attention along either side of the path, raised their adorned bayonets with mechanical precision, and made sure that no evil could block the path that the pair walked down. Chaister sisters that weren't part of the honor guard were stationed all over the cathedral, hiding behind pillars and the like, keeping an eye out for any intruders. Need regularities. Ceiling snipers all clear, yeah. 410 and 45 were on top of massive chandeliers hanging from the cathedral ceiling. Several other sniper pairs could be seen stationed on top of the other chandeliers. This seemingly festive cathedral was actually being heavily guarded in places that the attendants wouldn't noticed. Currently, we are simultaneously targeting 36 attendants suspected of being Lady Beatrice, as well as 131 in positions from attack might be launched. Surveillance in progress. Don't let your guard down. Lady Beatrice will almost certainly stage an attack on this wedding. That'd be so cool, breaking in to steal the bride, yeah? He's the groom, not the bride. But he's playing the bride's part, yeah? The Chaister sniper teams on the chandeliers use super high efficiency observers to track the movements of the several hundred attendants. If anyone of them made any suspicious movements, the Chaister sisters have been given permission to fire immediately. The one on the chandelier, Shyster 127, the overkilling monster sniper, could pulverize a human target from 2 kilometers away. The one on the chandelier across from that is Shyster 20. Her fire rate is 6,000 shots per minute. However, she's using a portable magazine this time, so 2 seconds is all it takes for her to use up her ammo. Lazy Bum can barely do her job for 2 seconds, yeah. Slowly, and making a show of it, the two walked down the red carpeted path. Battler's eyes were blank. If you looked closely, you could probably tell that Erica was dragging him by the arm she held. In other words, they weren't walking together. This was a ceremony for Erica to show off to everyone that this man belonged to her. Behind the bride and groom walked the 7 sisters of Purgatory, who held long ceremonial arms in the shape of the one-winged eagle. That moron Battler, what's he lazing about for? This is why people call him incompetent. I can understand Beatrice-sama's pain better than anyone else. It's all because that stupid Battler caused a logic error. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Beatrice-sama will not fall to sloth and let this wedding go on. Of course, Beatrice-sama is greedy. She won't let someone else take away her favorite toy. She'll definitely show up. Slobber, I hear the reception's gonna have tons of delicious food. Ah, I want to wear a wedding dress. Meow. Now. Bern Castel and Lambda Delta were in the nobles' seating on the balcony. Why is Palpatine there? They were sipping some bizarre carbonated cocktails as they looked down upon the show. What a splendid wedding dress. I love stuff like this. This is just the opening performance. That's pretty cruel. Which event do you think will be the headliner? Don't tell me you really think Beato will come. As you know as well, Battler's closed room is perfect. How could Beato win? Right? You must have heard too. There's a chance that the window seal on the room next door has been torn. It seems that Delano has managed to seal that path off for now, but she just denied the concept instead of sealing the actual window. It'll fly out the window again. This one-winged eagle thing. Wanna bet on whether Beato comes? I bet she comes with certainty. I bet she comes miraculously. This isn't going to work. The Witch of Certainty and the Witch of Miracles were both sure that Beato would come. However, they were very interested in exactly how she would break the closed room and take Battler back. You've been watching from behind the scenes, so you probably know. You know what the trick is. More or less. But Erica's done a hell of a job, so now even I'm stumped. Liar. Huh? I'm sure you found one already. There does exist a trick that can save Battler, right? There does, but it's tough. And if that move is used, part of Beato's heart will be exposed. Isn't that right? Oh, so you already know? Hey, want to change our bet? To what? To whether Beato or Erica wins. Sure, if you're willing to bet on Erica. I'll do it. Oh, you are betting on Erica, and why do you think you can win? If this trick is a part of Beato's heart, then Battler the Game Master will hesitate at exposing it, and so they cannot win. It will probably be a draw. I'm sure they'll sidestep the issue somehow and run away. Battler has sworn to let Beato rest in peace. Burn, you're being too naive. The bet was made based on the assumption that the certain miracle that Beato would come. Virgilia, who was now standing in the front row, tried to call out as soon as Battler walked by. She tried to tell him that the window seal on the next room over hadn't been checked, hoping that this would give him a hint. However, she had been marked perfectly. The instant she tried to lean forward, two Cheister sisters right behind her grabbed her arms. That powerful force told her that she wouldn't be able to move even a step forward. Trapped, she was forced to stand there and watch as Battler walked past. Battler-kun. Even now, he is fighting in that closed room all by himself. However, he cannot get out by his own power alone. Unless someone comes to save him, he cannot get out. Unless that child comes to save him, Battler-kun will be trapped. If there is a key to that closed room, I am certain Milady will find it. Milady, I am sure that you have gone through many trials in your life, but please, this is one trial that you must overcome. I am certain that you can do it. I, Renove, do not doubt that in the slightest. The bride and groom's procession slowly advanced down the path to the grave and reached the altar. Though walking slowly was ceremonious and proper etiquette, it was also tiring. Erica glanced over at Battler. Of course his eyes were blanked, his heart was still inside that closed room. Once more the sound of the Cheister honor guard stamping their heels rang out loudly. Silence returned to the cathedral again. Now the wedding ceremony would finally begin. People live for the sake of love. Therefore today you have fulfilled the purpose of your lives. Oh, how great is the power to live, the power of love. I pray that the brightness of this day blesses these two for all time. Come now, you who love one another, make the oath of love. In the place of the husband who cannot speak, let the wife make the oath on behalf of the pair. Battler swears to Erica, and Erica swears to Battler, to support each other both in sickness and in health. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't catch that, Battler-san. If you have some objection, please say it a bit more clearly in a loud voice. Damn it! If you have anything further to say, please get yourself out of that logic error closed room first. Don't worry. I'll support you until that day comes. Giggle. Bitch noises. You have heard the pair's oath of love. Oh, let this oath be eternal. The thunderous applause celebrated their marriage of subordination. After the oath, they would symbolize the bond. It was the exchanging of the rings. The Territory Lord's ring with the one-winged eagles engraved on it that sat on Battler's finger would become Erica's. By this, she would become the ruler of this game board. And in exchange, Battler's finger would be given a diamond ring that Erica had prepared. At a glance, it looked like a ring adorned by a large diamond. However, this cursed ring would force Battler into eternal subservience and mark him as another's property. Yes, let the pair exchange rings. Since the husband's finger cannot move, let his wife support him. Erica respectfully took Battler's right hand and then slowly pulled off the territory lord's ring that had been on his ring finger. That was the ring Beato had entrusted him with. Erica stole it away. This is the ring that woman left behind, right? How does it feel to have that stolen away by a woman like me? To hell. Huh? I can't hear you. Please say it one more time. Go to hell. Oh, that? Well, then there's no need to worry, Battler-san. Erica pressed her lips up against Battler's earlobe as if biting it, and told him where they were. We're already there. Then slowly she took Beato's ring, which she had stolen from Battler, and slipped it onto her own left hand. And now, bride, you may give the groom your ring. That's one hell of a ring, a shackle that'll hold him in place for all time. Giggle. Yeah, it's custom made. Even Battler's blank eyes could see the diamond ring Erica held. It was like Erica herself. On the outside, it shone beautifully and possessed an absolute hardness that would bend to no one's will. On the inside, to symbolize never letting go of the prey it had latched onto, it had 8 sharp thorns pointing inwards. If they had been growing out of the outer side, it would have looked like the collar of a guard dog from hell. However, whoever heard of putting those on the inside. By twisting the diamond, those thorns could be slid in or out. In other words, if you twisted it after thrusting the finger inside, the inward-facing thorns would bite down, never releasing until the end of time. Then even his soul would be trapped, and his body, mind, and soul would be forced to serve Erica for all eternity. Are you kidding me? Who the hell would wear a ring like that? He couldn't even finish speaking the simple phrase. And furthermore, those awkward words were the only way he could resist. She raised Battler's left hand and stroked his ring finger as if tasting it. Erica pressed the ring of subordination against the tip of his finger. If a ring is made to fit too tightly, it can be painful and hard to take off. However, this ring was never intended to be removed for life anyway, so its inner band had been mercilessly narrowed. Even without the thorns, forcing a small ring like this on would hurt. This ring will seal up your body, heart, and soul for all eternity, and you'll become an eternal living doll. I won't even let you die. You'll be endlessly defiled and humiliated by me. And every time I forget the taste of victory, I'll use your body to remind me, over and over again. And if you got the guts to bite off your tongue, now's the time. Once this goes on your finger, you won't even be able to do that. Fuck you. Battler didn't even have the strength to bite his tongue. Even if he had, he didn't want to give up before finding a way to escape the closed room, so he couldn't kill himself. However, if he accepted the ring, he would never be able to even think about escaping the room, much less commit suicide. So stop it. No way. Look, I'm sticking your finger in. It hurts. It wasn't just the pain of having his finger forced through the tight ring. The curse of the ring fiercely tormented Battler's body from the inside. That pain would always torment Battler, but fortunately, the power of the ring even stole away the heart that could understand that pain. Erica kept screwing that too small demon's ring on. It hurts. It's impossible. There's no way it'll fit. Don't worry. It will fit. No problem. With an obscene laugh, Erica let a silver thread drip from her mouth and soaked the finger and the ring. This is gross. Please relax. We'll stick it in all at once. Please don't resist uselessly. It'll hurt less if you don't resist, okay? You see, now it's sliding right in. No. Slowly, Battler's finger went deeper through the ring. He was pushed through the iron ring of the pain and humiliation which would never be removed again. Hey, look, it's Freddy Fazbear. Come on, look, okay? It's in all the way to the base, see? It hurts. Take it off. The demon's ring tightened around the finger so much so that it seemed the finger would snap off along with the bone. Could Battler's hazy expression of anguish really describe how unbearable this filthy pain was? Okay. Now that it's on all the way, let's add the final touch, shall we? After this, you will be mine forever. Erica touched the ring's diamond knob. If she twisted it, the thorns would bite in and never let go again. No. Stop it. Sure. Just say, forgive me, Erica-sama, and I'll stop. Really? Please forgive me, Erica-sama. I swear to spend the rest of my life as your dog with a collar around my neck, so at least spare me that ring. If you can say that, I won't make you wear the ring. Forg. I can't really hear you. I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you. For making you suffer like this? No. I'll never forgive you for defiling Beato's ring. Though Battler's eyes had supposedly been forced into a muddled condition, they appeared strong for just an instant. However, it really was only for an instant. Battler had used up the last of his fleeting resistance just to say those words. In his dim consciousness, he had even bitten his own tongue to stay alert, so that he could say those words of resistance until the very end. Of course, it seems you aren't the kind of dog that can be tamed, but it's better that way. Erica smiled. Then she turned to the diamond. In that instant, Battler let out a voiceless scream and threw his head back. His howl had no voice and could be heard by no one. However, it still rang out through the cathedral. I have to go to bed. A dreary breeze blew through the golden rose garden. Shannon and Cannon had already finished walking 19 steps, their backs still facing each other. When the demons conducting the trial gave the signal, they would both turn and settle this. Each had one of the dueling pistols given by the demons in their hands. Their bullets promised certain death no matter where on the body they hit. This duel would not end until one of them died. George and Jessica just quietly watched the ones they loved. They had already entrusted all of their thoughts to them as well as their fates. Just watching over their partners was now the only way they could show their trust. Shannon and Cannon stood quietly with their backs turned. They had already set aside the feelings they'd built up during all those days they'd known each other. The next time they laid eyes on the other, nothing would be asked of them except pulling that trigger. The only one who still couldn't muster any determination or resolve towards this duel was Beato. The closer the moment came, the less she understood. The love between George and Shannon wasn't standing in the way of the love between Jessica and Ken and vice versa. Why, when both sides could find happiness, were they both forced to kill each other? I don't understand. I just can't understand. Little sister, we are not permitted to do anything but watch. Sapar, Fafur-san, why this duel? This is no trial of love. You really are demons. You just want to enjoy watching one of the pairs fall apart, don't you? Silence. You'll get in the way of the lovers. You're the ones getting in their way. One will fall. The one who loves that person will grieve. If only you two weren't around, no one would be sad. That is not true. If we hadn't set up this duel, then both pairs would have fallen apart. This duel is necessary. I haven't been able to accept that since the beginning. You say their love can't be successful without the miracle of magic. What does love need other than two people who love each other? This duel is meaningless. So stop it, you two. Shannon and Cannon both. Why must you fight each other to the death when you were once as close as true siblings? I just can't understand. Everyone should have been able to hear Beato's yell. However, no one's expression changed. That's right. I'm impressed that you noticed. That is love's truth. What is? Normally, love needs nothing more than two people who love each other. Therefore, when there aren't two people, we must use a duel to make that number become two. I could understand if it were a duel between two people fighting over one woman. If it were a duel to cut three people in love down to two. But here we have two pairs of people. The world formed by each pair is complete, isn't it? There's nothing compelling them to fight. The minimum number of people that can create a world is two. A world can only be born, love can only be fulfilled when two people gather. That's why this duel is necessary, so that they can get up to that number of people. Are you saying that furniture is subhuman, so they don't count as a single person? Exactly. Furniture is subhuman. That's why furniture and a human cannot add up to two people. That's insane. Status has nothing to do with it if both of them love each other. No, it does. Do you really think that the status of a pair of lovers doesn't matter? Is a man who has a wife allowed to love someone else? Is a woman who has a husband allowed to love someone else? Are you allowed to fall in love with your parents? Are you allowed to fall in love with your children? There are many situations where status makes love unallowable. Then just what is furniture? Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Because their soul is less than a single person. Shannon, Cannon, and of course the piece that you are, all of you are furniture. Subhuman beings who possess less than a single person's soul. To be qualified to love a human, you need only one thing, the possession of a single person's soul. That's why a pair in love can create a world. For example, do you think a man with a wife has the right to love another woman? Of course not. If he loved two women, neither would get a full person's worth of love. A man such as that would be unworthy of love. See, there are plenty of statuses in humans who have no right to love a person. As long as both people feel love, nothing else matters. That's just the hypocrisy of naive love. We cannot forgive humans who falsely pretend that they have the right to love. We cannot forgive the love of subhuman beings, of those who don't make up the minimum number of people required to create a world. That is the purpose of our trial. It is to let the sinful souls regain a complete soul and become capable of true love. Zapar Fafur-sama, our hearts are ready. Please give the signal to start the duel. The pair bidding the farewell quietly asked the signal to be given. Zapar nodded silently and walked to the place that could be seen by both of them. Fafur spoke in a quiet voice, enough to avoid distracting the two duelists. Watch. Watch the duel to see which of the lovers will fall apart. No, this isn't a duel to see who falls apart. This is a duel to make true love succeed. I don't understand what you two are saying. No, you must understand this marks the birth of a human who can truly love another. I don't understand. No matter which wins, please support them. Right now, their days as furniture will end. The signal is simple. I will count to 3. When I reach 3, the duel will commence. Understood. Same here. If both miss, the duel will be temporarily suspended. You will be given bullets again and will start over from the beginning with your backs to each other. I guess it'll repeat until it's all settled. Zapar, have you seen this sort of duel many times in the past? Of course. I've seen many of them. Usually, how many times do they need to face off before it's over? It's almost all cases decide on the first round. They must all be really good shots. That's not it. If one side misses, the other can corner them at their leisure and shoot. If the first bullet misses, then you've lost your chance of victory. However, if you take too long and you lose before you can pull the trigger, if you're going to lose anyway, you'd at least want to have pulled the trigger first. Your resolve is good, you two. Then, let's go. One, 2, 3. In the Golden Rose Guard, when the number 3 was yelled, the sound of gunfire rang out. Even the people watching couldn't tell whether that was a single gunfire or the sound of both going off at the same time. In the midst of the smoke and stench of gunpowder and white smoke, there was a gun raised, and smoke trailing the barrel was Cannon, and lying on the earth was Shannon. Shannon-san? No. Shannon fell before the gun fired. Jessica's distressed expression was enough to explain what had happened. Slowly, Shannon stood up. There was no bullet wound anywhere on her body. At the time of the signal, Shannon had thrown herself to the ground, dodging the bullet. It had been a bet. If Cannon had turned around and taken the time to aim carefully before shooting, then he would have shot her as she lay there. However, if Cannon shot as soon as he turned around, she would be able to dodge it. Cannon had also made a bet. He did not underestimate Shannon's skill with a firearm. He was fully aware if he assumed Shannon would be timid enough to let him shoot first, he would lose before even pulling the trigger. So he had decided to shoot right away, and he had predicted that when he shot, Shannon would reflexively pull the trigger too. Since he intended to shoot right away, he would be more mentally prepared, so he was confident that he'd be able to shoot accurately. If Cannon had cautiously turned around and Shannon had shot instantly with the strength of her will, then Cannon wouldn't even have been able to pull the trigger. So, no impatience on Cannon's part was to blame here. The two had simply given it their all, let their fates to the heavens, and reached the result. I didn't imagine that my quick-tempered Nason wouldn't shoot at all. I'm surprised, too, to think that the old prudent Cannon-kun would shoot as soon as he turned. As Shannon quietly pointed the barrel at him, she slowly walked forward. She planned on cautiously closing the gap until she reached a distance from which she could hit with even more certain accuracy. And Cannon had already lost any means of fighting back. He could only try to dodge Shannon's bullet and place his bet on the second round. If they both thought this, then what happened next turned the assumption on its head. This isn't over yet. Cannon dashed forward like a tornado, bent over so low that he was almost crawling over his own shadow. This duel could only be settled by a single bullet, but he wasn't the only one who had a bullet. If he could steal Shannon's gun away from her, he could turn this fight around, and if Shannon calmly shot through Cannon, it would end. The odds that Shannon would miss were that he could get close enough to her before she fired. Cannon would bet all the chips he had on them. Shannon could draw Cannon in the last second, then shoot him from a closer distance. If she pulled the trigger just before he reached her, then even if she missed, they would just start again from the beginning. Shannon kept her gun pointing at Cannon's forehead as she compared these options until the final moment. She led her shot, calculated the distance he had already moved at the time it would take to pull the trigger. The goddess of fortune smiles impartially. Hurrah! And no. Surviving past the final moment Shannon could have shot, Cannon barreled into her chest. He then swung his hand up, knocked the gun, and reached Shannon held into the air. That strike sent Shannon's gun flying into the sky. At the same time, Cannon's gun also flew from his hand and danced through the air. The two guns danced around through the sky and reached their peaks and began to fall. By the time, neither knew whose gun was which. The two guns were exactly the same. Everything about them was identical. There was no way to tell them apart. However, there was one difference. Only one of them had a bullet inside. The pair raised their hands to the sky, trying to grasp their fate, their miracle. It was as though they were trying to grasp the wings of a descending angel of miracles. The pair looked up at the brilliant sky and entrusted everything to the goddess of fortune. Then they each grabbed one of the guns out of the air, and after dancing a momentary rondo, their arms crossed each other. Even that had been like a dance. Then they each pressed the barrel of the gun up against each other's forehead and both as steady as a rock. Even they could not know which gun held the bullet. When they both pressed the triggers, one would die and one would remain alive. The match would end. George and Jessica wouldn't know the result until that moment came. However, was it really impossible for the two holding the guns to know? The muzzle of Cannon's gun, which had already been fired, must have been warm, and the muzzle of the other gun, which Shannon hadn't fired, should have been ice cold. So perhaps the pair of them did realize which gun was which, and yet both expressions were solemn, the faces of those who would believe in their fate unswervingly, until the moment the triggers were pulled. Don't be sad. We'll meet again soon, in the Golden Land. We should have done this much sooner. If only we had, our reunion could have been avoided entirely. It's all right, considering that what day this is. Even this duel is just a farce. You're right. If we're just going to revive in the Golden Land anyway, it really is just a farce. Then I'll see you later. Yeah, you too. So long. Cannon got the gun with the bullet. Cannon-kun? Hey, what's going on? Hang in there. Suddenly, Cannon fell to the floor as if he had had an attack of anemia. It had happened without any warning beforehand, so everyone rushed up to him in alarm. What they saw surprised them. There was a single strand of blood across his forehead, making it look as though it had cracked open. Huh? How? What happened? What's going on? Trying to get a look at the wound, Goto wiped Cannon's forehead with a handkerchief. However, his forehead was perfectly smooth without any trace of a wound, and yet blood was pouring out almost as though it was seeping through his skin. What are you doing? Stop the bleeding already! But, even though there's no wound, the blood won't stop coming. Hang in there, Cannon-kun. Cannon-kun! Yoshio-kun! Cannon's forehead was pale, and though his eyes were open, they had lost the light of the living. Just like a puppet whose strings had been cut, he had passed away. Yoshio-kun, Yoshio-kun. So long, Cannon-kun. Well, I want to keep reading, but I should have gone to bed like 4 hours ago. So, good night, everybody. Bye.